Welcome to the Eye on Innovation podcast brought to you by OIS. I'm your host, Carey Powers, and I have the incredible opportunity to interview amazing, smart people. It's the best job in the world, and today is no exception. My guests today are the newest additions to the Staar Surgical leadership team. We have Warren Foust, who was named Chief Operating Officer just a few weeks ago, and Dr. Magda Michna, who was appointed Chief Clinical, Regulatory, and Medical Affairs Officer for Starr. So first, we'll just pause and say congratulations on these huge moves you guys just made. And welcome to OIS.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us, Carey.
Join Doctors Maria Baracol, Praveen Dugal, and Firas Rahal at the upcoming OIS Retina on July 27th in Seattle, where you'll see and meet with leading startup companies, top industry executives, and clinical thought leaders addressing unmet retina needs through novel therapies. Save 30% when you register for both OIS Retina and OIS 13, the original Ophthalmology Innovation Summit, taking place this December 1st and 2nd in San Diego. Register today at ois.net.
So I have to say, I've already shared this with Magda previously, but when the news came out that you guys made the move to Starr, woke up to it that morning, I was like, whoa, the text messages that were flying around.
We were too, I think.
Exactly. It was amazing.
There's just so much energy going, right now, and so much heart for Starr. With Tom coming in recently as well, bringing you guys in. I think you guys just have a lot of momentum right now, and a lot of people, everybody in the industry just rooting for you. So it's really fun to watch.
Great.
So for our listeners, both Warren and Magda were recently on another amazing eye care podcast called Eye Luminaries on the Helio Network. Hosts John Hovanesian and Jim Meza do an amazing job. Go listen to it. It's a really great foundational learning about Warren and Magda and their new roles. So we're certainly not going to do a repeat of that discussion, but just go maybe another layer deeper on some of the things you guys talked about there. So Warren, I'd like to start by talking about the unprecedented investment that Starr has made in DTC. First huge investment in terms of refractive surgical technology. So I'd love to hear from you. Can we expect to see more of that now that you've seen some impact of the campaign? How is Starr viewing DTC in the future?
Yeah, it's a great question. And first of all, just thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here. You said at the beginning, amazing and talented, which is what Magda is. And so that's part of how I got to Starr. And thanks for the shout out about Dr. Hovanesian and Jim. That was kind of our hazing, I think, as we came into this.
It was
this
terrific.
Company.
You guys did a great job. I loved it.
So much fun.
Listen to it twice.
Those are great. They're so great and have been so welcoming to us. And so that's one thing I know we both share. We love the ophthalmic community. So thank you for having us. Look, on DTC, I'm so excited because we're really the only company that's providing this avenue by which we're trying to help our refractive surgeons grow their practices. And DTC advertising is expensive and it's complicated. We have an amazing group of marketers which have done a great job under the leadership of David Koromansky to guide us there, and so make sure that we're using dollars in the right way. But what we've seen is on a national level where we have, in not just the US, by the way, national level in China, where we started with DTC marketing, and everyone I think understands the success that we've had in China, which is great. We want to emulate that now in the US as we've done in other markets around the world. And what we see is when we turn a market on, we have incredible adoption. Patients are coming into physicians' practices and saying, I want an EVO-ICL in my eye. And then after they get it, when the surgeon makes that decision, we see 99.4% patient satisfaction, which we're really proud of.
I saw that at iCeller the other day. That's just phenomenal. And the physicians out in the community, I mean, they've even mentioned to me how excited they were at the celebrity brand influencers that you guys brought on board. So there is a lot of appreciation, I think, and excitement. And do I have it right that you guys don't have an outside agency, but you're handling all of this in-house. Is that
That's
correct?
right. We're handling it in-house, and we're proud of the fact that we have the talent in-house to do it. And so we've had amazing campaigns. And so the Nick Jonas campaign, I think, was really important. But now we've just signed, and then we had the press release on Thursday. All 3 Jonas Brothers are now, we're going to be engaged with them as we're supporting their tour, which is going to kick off out of New York in August. And so much more to come from a direct-to-consumer advertising perspective. We love it. Our customers are telling us they love it. I had a customer come and hug me today
That's amazing.
to say thank you for trying to drive patients and to be in, a company that's going to drive patients for their refractive practice. A happy EVO-ICL patient makes a happy surgeon, and it grows a surgeon's refractive practice.
Absolutely. I don't want to harp too much on DTC. Obviously, that's my wheelhouse, but I just, the wheels are turning here. I just think it's so unique that you guys are doing that in-house. And I think, as a marketer and someone who has spent a lot of money with agencies in the past, what I love about that is the alignment. Your team is 100% aligned with Starr's business objectives as opposed to their own. So I just think that's really, I have to commend you for that unique approach.
We'll tell the team. They're amazing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Magda, you've mentioned in the past how critical it is to provide physicians with the information they need to be able to educate their patients. So I really want to hear from you more on that and your plans to partner with physicians to be able to bring that service forward.
Yeah, absolutely, Carey. One of the things that we're really lucky to have is the fact that we have so much international experience, and with the EVO approval last year, we can leverage a lot of that in our US market. Absolutely, these are technical medical devices. They need a lot of support from a medical information perspective. So our team's been really focused on getting to know our surgeons internationally, getting to know really what are the questions here in the United States, and doing our best in order to provide, Warren and his team the information they need to be successful. But really, I think leveraging what we've seen in the Asia Pacific region and Europe as well is really going to help us in that sort of challenge. But honestly, medical information, that's what it's about. It's a unique procedure, obviously quite different to the LASIK procedures in the refractive space that have occurred in the past, and we really want to educate on the benefits and safety profiles of these technologies.
Fantastic. Yeah. So Magda, I understand that in your new role, you're actually uniting 3 different previously separate organizations at Starr. So talk to us about the synergies that the organization saw with doing that and what your approach is going to be.
Yeah, and I'm really pleased, this is the second time I've done this type of role, and I'm really pleased that, Tom was so open to this. And really the goal of this organization, the goal of these 3 roles or these 3 organizations in a synergistic way is to ensure that we have evaluation of our total product life cycle. How do we ensure that we have the right information going into a registration? How do we ensure that we understand what the medical information needs are going to be once that product is in the market? And I say to Warren and to Tom, 2 most important conversations for me is the doctor to the salesman and the doctor to their patient. Once we understand what those medical information needs are at that level, because really that's our end goal, right? Ultimately, that doctor is going to have to explain benefit risk to the patient, and the salesperson is going to have to explain that to the doctor. So, we want to start with that conversation and then work our way backwards to ensure we have global regulatory clinical strategies to accelerate that product to market, but also provide the medical information that's going to make it successful once it's there.
I love that. Your experience, Magda, is just perfect for this challenge that you have ahead of you. So that's fantastic.
Thank you, Carey. It's fun.
Warren, one of the topics that you mentioned on the iLuminaries podcast was the great opportunities for physician partnership. So I was really intrigued by that. I'd love to hear more about how you're approaching that.
Yeah, it's a great question. And look, we've had tremendous success outside the US. I mentioned China before. China is a little bit of a different type of customer than the very, very segregated in many ways customer that exists in the United States from a standpoint of independent practices may operate very differently than a big system like IR in China. With that said, we also have big private equity groups and venture capital backed situations that we need to address differently than we might an individual woman or man that's practicing in Cincinnati, for example. So what we're trying to do is customize solutions for each one of those types of customers that can engage with us. And so we're really happy that we have programs. The best way to access that is to reach out to local leadership and talk about what would be specific to a customer's needs. For example, someone who wants to start with EVO-ICL, we have programs where we can do a fast start and get them up to speed. One, from a training perspective, because it's important. We want to make sure that we train the surgeons so that they can deliver best outcome for their patients. So we take a lot of time and care to do that. But we're also interested in partnering with that physician as they solve for needs that might be in their practice. Maybe they're going into an office-based setting where they want to operate in their office. We can in some ways assist with that. We can in some ways have opportunities to help educate their potential customers, their potential patients. And so again, we customize those for each one of our different surgeons, but we're excited about delivering that to them.
It's so nice to be in a situation where it's 100% cash pay, so that kind of opens the door to partnering in that way.
That's right. And look, if we do it right, we have these national campaigns, and so I mentioned the Jonas Brothers, and there are others too. We have social media marketers that are helping drive traffic to these customers, and that assuming that there's a certain volume commitment, then that, and we'll ask for a volume commitment because we believe that the technology warrants it, then we have at that next level, at the more local level, the ability to partner with customers, and they love it.
Oh, of course, yeah. Really, really great feedback in the marketplace right now about what Starr is doing. So now I'd like to switch gears just a little bit and put your personal hat on for a moment. With just making these big career moves that you've just made, I'm sure there was a lot of self-reflection that went on to make a big decision like this. So I just want to hear kind of how you approached that decision, what made you finally pull the trigger to make a big move, and how are you thinking about your future in terms of development and your leadership legacy? So Magda, let's start with you.
Sounds great. Well, I think one of the things that I at first loved about the concept of going to Starr, or the idea when Tom called me, was just the ability to now start a new organization, start to build a little bit more of synergies across multiple groups at Staar Surgical, but also to come in with a really amazing team. One of the things I love is developing teams and developing people. I'm very passionate about developing leaders, and just looking at how they were structured, looking at the talent that was there. One of my goals was to be able to come in, make a real impact, but also to really grow some leadership. And I think that as we look to Starr's future, there's so much excitement coming through the next 5 to 10 years. That's really what was in it for me. I really want to get in there and grow the next sort of group of leaders in regulatory, clinical, medical affairs, and really start to bring a little bit of visibility to our group. Sometimes in an organization that's doing so well on the commercial side, there's a lot of visibility, marketing, sales, and other organizations, and clinical, regulatory, medical affairs kind of seen as the service sort of group to support those activities. But really, we do bring a lot of value, and those organizations really do bring a lot of value when we talk to our key opinion leaders and as we sort of grow the market. So trying to see how we can work with Warren and his team, partner with them in order to really help our surgeons and make EVO successful in the market.
Absolutely, that's such a good point. And that there tends to be a lot of flash sometimes on the commercial side.
Sure.
When our medical, clinical, R&D colleagues are 100% just as responsible for everything that we're doing.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic, and I really do see that as an extension of the legacy you already have in our industry for mentoring and leading the next generation. So
thank you. And I think
fantastic.
that's great. Obviously we all need each other, right? Obviously without R&D we don't have products, without
Of course.
regulatory they don't get approval, and without the commercial team we don't have revenue to grow the company. So and I think Warren and I, we're good friends, and so I think we're going to try to build that culture where everyone understands we're one big team, and without each other it really doesn't work. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Warren, I'd love to hear from you on this subject too.
Yeah, look, I love what Magda said, and you talk about reflection. We had a chance to go to Monrovia together and see the manufacturing facility up there. If you haven't been in the car with me who I normally have a 7 and 9-year-old in the back of the car, and in the car with me getting in traffic in LA. We're lucky to be alive. So Magda will drive.
One hairy moment, but
Magda will drive next time. That's a true story. But look, first of all, my wife Stacy, we anguished over the decision. I love the time that I spent at Johnson & Johnson, an amazing company filled with incredibly talented, lovely people that are family to me in a lot of ways. And so taking this step outside to come to a place like Starr was hard from that perspective, but it was easy from the standpoint of Starr is an amazing, what has been built before us, the challenges that they've gone through since 1982 to get us to where we are now, it's spectacular. So I'm so excited to be part of an organization that has endured all of that and has now put themselves on this trajectory for explosive growth. And I'm talking growth outside the US already documented in the public domain of 20+%, but at market levels, we're growing double digits in every market, in some cases double. And so it's exciting. The people are talented. They are committed. When I had a chance to see that, it was obvious. It's a fun place to work. It's one of our values. We sat down as a leadership team. Yeah. We aligned on some values, empowerment of our people, driving a fast sense of execution. So we want to do things fast, and fun was one of them. We have others, but I just don't want to leave that piece out, because I think where you work and who you work with is important. And so
100%.
We're on a run.
It's everything. Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. That fun actually made it into your core values. That's fantastic. Right. Yeah. Well, congratulations again. Like I said before, the whole industry is rallying around you guys right now. So very excited to see what you guys do. And thank you again. I know this has to be one of the most busy meetings of the entire year. And the fact that I got both of you at the same time, it was just fantastic. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for making time for the OIS podcast.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us, and thanks for all that OIS does. And looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Carey. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much, OIS.
Fantastic. Thank you both.